This is the King Abdullah Financial District in Saudi Arabia. We are in Riyadh for stage 15 of the Longines Global Champions Tour, the big finale where our champion will be crowned here tonight. What a pleasure it has been to be with you throughout all 14 stages of the season and finally to come down to the last stage today. My name is Maikel. This is GCTV and we are getting ready to bring you the big final showdown, to bring the curtain down on this incredible season that still has so much to tell you by the time the end of the night is going to come. The irony here is that there are still 3 riders that are involved in this championship fight. There are still 3 riders that are involved in this competition. Let's remind you as to who is going down the wire tonight in this Lgct Grand Prix to be crowned the 2023 champion. These are your 3 men. This is how the championship standings look. Harrie is the favorite, and we will talk about the context, what is needed, the scenarios for Harrie to go on and win. Of course, life becomes more difficult if you are Maikel van der Vleuten and you are Henrik van Ackerman, but the reality is that all 3 of these men are still in with a chance to win the title tonight. We'll give you clarity on how it looks by the end of the pre-show here tonight, but bear in mind, remember, it is crucial that all 3 of the men are able to go on and win tonight's title. The big question then is, does Harrie join Edwina Tops-Alexander and Scott Brash as a 2-time Lgct champion? We know that Van der Vleuten and Van Ackerman have never won, but they both have been second on overall Lgct standings. Tonight is their opportunity to finally get it right. Let's not forget that there's going to be some pretty big prize money being put into the pocket as well of these riders, depending on how they find themselves on the podium. For the championship, one of those 3 men will walk away with 100,000 euros tonight. The second place, 150, and your winner tonight, Harrie Maikel van der Vleuten, Henrik van Ackerman, whoever it may well be, will go on to take home 300,000 euros for being your overall champion. That's not what they'll win tonight and from the other Grand Prix throughout the year. That is simply for being crowned champion or getting onto the podium for the Lgct season. It is going to be a spectacular night. We have the start list that is absolutely loaded with talent. We will hear from Frederik de Backer, we will hear from Rosie Tapner, and we will be bringing you this championship story throughout the rest of the night here under the lights in the beautiful city of Riyadh. For now though, let's remind you as to how we got to this point.
Smulders takes it over the last. Harrie Smulders and Monaco. He's racing down to the final fence. It is slower. It's been seconds, it's been thirds, but now it's the lead for Harrie Smulders. 3 consecutive podium finishes.
Harrie Smulders. Will he get there? Not quite. He's gone into 3rd.
And it's gone. It is gone. So Smulders is outside of the... And what does he do? Straight away retires. Look at that. Maikel van der Vleuten. He adds, and he's going to lose it in the last line. Van der Vleuten, and he's slower. In Beauville ZNOP with Maikel van der Vleuten. It's all in his hands. Get this win on board. There is Vleuten, and he wins it. Yeah, he's behind, adds a stride here as well. Oh, it is a run out for Van der Vleuten. The number 2 in the championship standings. No, and he can't get out of the triple combination. World number 1, Henrik van Ackerman, is in the ring. The world number 1 has to retire. Henrik van Ackerman will retire there. The world number 1 with the best horse in the world. Here comes the king, and he is crowned. Henrik van Ackerman is once again on top of the world. Van Ackerman with King Edward. Here he comes, he's all in, he's all open. Henrik van Ackerman wins his 2nd Grand Prix of the season.
When you see them all like that put together, it's so easy to get excited by those big crucial moments, and you wonder how those big moments throughout the year are going to play a part in how tonight rolls out. You think about Van der Vleuten winning in Cannes, not qualifying in Riesenbeck, the run out in A Coruña, which was heartbreaking for him, Van Ackermann winning in Stockholm, winning in Rome, but the retiring in Doha, the retiring in Mexico. How different a season this would have been for Van Ackermann if that was not the case. Harrie Smulders winning in Riesenbeck, the clear round streak, the consecutive podiums, but they're retiring in Rome. There are so many moments for each of these three riders to look back on and think about how differently would things have been if things had played out ever so slightly at some of these stages. Now, the big conversation is about where do these riders find themselves on the start list? Who has the advantage? Is it an advantage? What kind of an advantage is it going to be? Well, this is how it looks for now. Harrie Smulders will be the first of the big three to go. 16th will then have a break after 18 riders. Maikel van der Vleuten in 24th. And because of what we've come to expect from Van Ackermann, a wonderful, wonderful qualifier yesterday in King Edward, means that he will be the third last rider to go. So if you want to start taking a look at the start list and maybe starting to put the tiniest little bit of advantage on which man then has the latest start to go, well, it's quite early for Harrie Smulders, somewhere in the middle for Maikel van der Vleuten, and then right at the end, King Edward and Henrik van Ackermann are going to have the advantage of sitting back and watching his other two closest competitors go, and also have the opportunity to try and read the ring, take as much information out of those ahead of him, and then finally make his performance. We caught up with all three of them. All three of those championship contenders before tonight's LGCT Grand Prix to find out how the nerves are feeling, how the mind is feeling, and where the heart is at ahead of tonight's big Grand Prix.
I started a little later after, I think my first one was Madrid, or Doha actually, and then I skipped Mexico, Miami. Yeah, it has been a great season, especially in the middle of the season. I had 4 podiums in a row. After that I was struggling a little bit towards the end. But it's a good time now to come back.
What about Riesenbeck, your win in Riesenbeck? How special was that?
Yeah, that was very special. Great atmosphere there, beautiful grass arena. Urikas was at his best there. I think he showed really that he belonged to the best horses in the world.
Are you aware of what you need to do today to make sure that you win the championship?
I don't know the exact calculations, no.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
You need to be in the top 8. If you are in the top 8 today, you have won it no matter what.
Right. Oh, no, let's do it then.
How confident are you that you can do it? Obviously, yesterday you had to jump both rounds, which is quite unusual for you to have to do with your Grand Prix horse, Urikas. How confident are you going into today after having to do that?
Yeah, the rest of the season I didn't do. I used separate horses. Like I said, I was struggling a little bit with my horsepower. So I only brought Urikas. He has to do it all this weekend, but he's in a great shape. He jumped fantastic yesterday. We were unlucky at the last fence, but hopefully that turns around today.
It was unlucky, that last fence, but how was qualifying yesterday? How did you find it riding here? How did he find it?
Yeah, like I said, he feels super. I think yesterday our focus was really on the GCL. We were always second, so it was not a disappointment for us, but I think Riesenbeck was very, very strong, and all the credits to them.
You won the championship in 2017. Maikel van der Vleuten was behind you then. He's behind you this time again. What would it mean to win for a second time?
Like I said the other day, I know what the feeling is, and I would like to feel it again.
Very good luck.
Of course, there are no complaints for this season. I mean, my horses have been doing very consistent the whole season. I must say the first half was very good with a few podium places. Then we had a few stages that was maybe a little less, with one down, which is not bad, but I mean, you don't get too many points then. But okay, so far we are still in the second place in the overall, and let's see what we can change about that today.
You won in Cannes on Beauville, who you've got here today. What was that like? How special was that?
That was a fantastic win for me. Some very important people were there for me, my family, the horse owner from Beauville, Marta Ortega, with the whole family and friends. So it was a special moment for me, and But okay, as I said, this is a new, a new show again. Let's see today.
You seem very calm, but I know that underneath that you are competitive, you're a sportsman. Harrie is just in front of you, only 14 points, and in 2017 he pipped you to the post. How much fire is in your belly right now?
No, definitely. Maybe I look from the outside calm, but the inside is definitely hot to perform very well today, and I know the other one's gonna be strong as well. So we have no choice. Let's say like this. And I know Beauville will give also all his best, and I try to do no mistakes today.
How was Beauville after qualifying yesterday?
Good. Had a very unlucky rail, but I must say he felt in good shape, and I go with good confidence into today.
Do you lastly have a look at what you need to get today in order to get that championship?
Not really, to be honest.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, it's okay.
You need to be 1 or 2 in order to grab this championship.
Yeah, and depends on what the
and
other
it depends
do.
on what the others do, but 1 and 2.
Okay. So the
confident?
So it's easy, no?
It's easy.
I know what to do, and let's go for that, and then
go and grab
good.
it. Good luck.
Good, thank you.
I will try to do my 2 rounds, hopefully 2 rounds, and not only 1 round today, and then I see how far that takes me.
King Edward in qualifying yesterday looked as good as ever. I remember seeing him in Rome, and you look so thrilled with his form. How are you feeling about him here in Riyadh?
I also hear fantastic form. Could not have a better round than yesterday from the feeling. All looks good so far.
We saw him in the stables a little earlier on in this week. He's got quite an attitude. He knows he's boss, right?
No, in the stable he have attitude, but he is the most sweetest horse, and when he comes in the ring, he knows his job and puts in another gear.
You're such a good pairing. You won in Stockholm and in Rome this year. What has been the highlight for your season?
Of course, the 2 wins. We had a little drop there after Stockholm, few issues, but I'm so happy I found the way back in Rome, and now it seems anyway with yesterday's round it's in a fantastic form, so I really look forward to the class.
Are you aware of what you need to do to win this today?
I know what I'm aware of, yes, but I don't think about it, to be honest. It always doesn't matter what it is. I never think about it. I think about it afterwards. I can of course say, shit, I should have done that, or I should have done that. Then it would have been like that. But when you go in the ring, you have only focus, do a good round, make sure you give the horse the best approach to the jumps as you can. And if I did that job, I have to be satisfied with whatever comes out.
A true professional. You did come second to Pedder in 2021. What would it mean to you and your whole team if you could win this tonight?
Of course, it would be a fantastic thing, because I was second. Okay, when I was second, I had no clue that I was close to be second, but then I won the last leg, and that dropped me high up to second place. If I don't win this time, I hopefully have a few other shots and give it a go.
You've got plenty more years in you, Henrik, for sure. Very good luck today.
Thank you very much.
So Harrie Smolders can join a really, really special group of 2-time winners, and Maikel van der Vleuten and Henrik van Eckermann finally can try and wrong the rights of 2017 and 2021. Both of those men have a lot to prove tonight, but there is no denying, and we'll find out more of the details later on tonight, that the reality is that Harrie Smolders is in pole position. He has the least amount of work to do to get over the line tonight, but it is not guaranteed, and there are ways that the other 2 can get onto the line and go on and win. We'll explain that later. For now, we take a break. When we return, we hear from Frederik de Backer, we hear from Rosie Tapner, and we talk about situations and how each of these men can be crowned LGCT champion for 2023. Welcome back to GCTV. Welcome back to the beautiful city of Riyadh. We're in the King Abdullah Financial District for the 15th and final stage of the Longines Global Champions Tour. We have 3 riders still in the hunt. Henrik van Ackerman, Maikel van der Vleuten and Harrie Smolders all will be going head-to-head tonight in this very ring behind me. The big question now becomes, on which horse, with which partner are those 3 riders going to be going into this big battle, going into this big challenge? Well, Frederik de Backer is standing by for us. He is ready for tonight. I am ready for tonight. We have been ready, Frederik, for this for quite some time. I wonder if I can steal just an emotion question before we talk about what we want to talk about. Here you are, sir, 15th and final stage. It's been a real journey getting to this point. Here we are in the reality of it. How are you feeling ahead of the Grand Prix?
I normally don't say it, but I'm quite nervous. It's like there's so many things that can happen. People that can jump into top 3 still of the championship, but there's also, of course, the championship race itself that is still happening. So there's so many factors going through my mind that I'm actually a little bit nervous about how many things that we could witness here. So many variables, so many things can go right or wrong. It's just nerve-wracking.
Can we have a moment for our matching suits as well today, by the way, for the Lgct final? Hey, here we are. Okay,
someone got the memo.
I'm glad we share those messages. Stop with the nonsense. Frederik de Backer, let's talk about horses. Let's talk about horsepower. Talk to me about these 3 men. Who do they have here? Who will they be jumping tonight in the Grand Prix? Let's talk numbers and statistics. What is going on with the riders and their horses?
Well, we've got 2 not surprises, 2 securities, 2 certainties. Maikel van der Vleuten, Beauville Z, NOP, Henrik van Ackerman, King Edward. Now, when we got the horse list about the horses that were being flown into Riyadh, there was no Monaco. Now, at that point, we knew that Urikas had to jump the Grand Prix, which would not be a surprise in the end. Urikas jumped 1 Grand Prix this season, jumped it clear, and won it. That was in Riesenbeck. But the fact that Paris Panthers, the GCL team, did not have Long John Silver on board meant that Urikas has already jumped 2 rounds this weekend, and that is the only of the Grand Prix contenders that has jumped those 2 rounds so far. So Urikas actually with the perfect record, but the volume is too low to really use that. 1 Grand Prix, 1 win, 0 penalties, obviously. Then Beauville Z, Beauville with plenty more rounds. He's jumped 10 Grand Prix and he's jumped 4 clear so far. So a 40% clear round rate and a 2.8 penalty per round average. On the other side, you've got King Edward of Henrik van Ackerman, who has jumped 6 Grand Prix and only 2 clear, so his clear round rate sits much lower. However, he did convert that into 2 wins. Whenever he was in the jump-off, he always won the Grand Prix, whether it was Stockholm or it was Rome, the previous stage before we came to this final. Also there he won the Grand Prix. But the penalty per round average of King Edward is much higher, 4.6. So basically, of King Edward, we've seen 2 faces. We've seen the ultra-efficient and ultra-competitive King Edward, but we've also seen a King Edward that came out with more than a single rail. And that is something that cannot happen here tonight in this final mark.
Absolutely not. And we'll talk scenarios a little bit later, Frederik, but it is quite simple. The 2 men in Henrik van Ackerman and Harrie Smolders, or I beg your pardon, Maikel van der Vleuten, need to do the chasing. They need to really be aggressive tonight. It's a very different story for Harrie Smolders. Well, since you are there, Frederik, let's take a moment. Let's talk about what it is that the riders are going to be jumping then. Urikas, Beauville and King Edward. Let's get ready for tonight's course walk.
The course walk of this first round, round 1 of the Launching Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Riyadh. This is where it's going to be decided over these fences, and I'm actually in one of the interesting fences that straight away, as soon as I got the plan on paper, that caught my eye. It is the triple combination of Longines with a vertical Oxer and Oxer, and we know that that requires a lot of power, and Venzani knows that there is 500,000 euros in the purse, so he also knows that he really has to test riders and horses. But we don't have to go back that long to understand when a triple combination of vertical Oxer and Oxer had a big role in the championship. Remember Rome? That back rail is what Beauville Z had down in the previous Grand Prix of the season. So that back rail right there with plenty of width between front and back rail is something that will be in the mind of Maikel van der Vleuten with Beauville Z NOP. Now, there's so much we have to talk about, but I want to take you to a very interesting line, because we know, as always, that Venzani comes up with surprises, with things that the riders haven't jumped before, just before the big test of a Grand Prix, and that is what he has done once again. Because look what stands at the far side. It's at the end of the course. By the way, may I just ask you to turn? Look who's walking the course together. Van der Vleuten and Smulders walking the course together. The three Dutchmen with Henrik van der Vleuten just behind him, walking the course and probably just measuring everything step by step. They're in the last line, they are making their way over to the final fence. But if we turn to the other side, if I... Hopla, here we go. Come with me, come here. Hey, there you are. Let's go. So this is the third last fence, and it is a replica of the birthplace of the city of Riyadh. This is the Riyadh. This is the ancient city of the Riyadh. The horses haven't jumped this before. Peekaboo. Haven't jumped this before, and now they have to come up to this full-faced plank. That's actually the second of the full-faced fences. Fence number 2 is actually a full-faced wall, and well, there's nowhere that you see the other side of this fence other than this little peephole right here. But this is a big fence to jump. As you can see, floodlights really lighting the front end of this plank, and just look at the height of it. It's absolutely at the top slot. That is one big fence to jump. This is plus meter 60, and it is the third last fence. So what it is all about, if you come out of the turn and you aim for that fence, first of all you have to make sure that your horse is locked on, that he knows that he has to jump it, and then you have to anticipate on the jump that you just might get once you jump over that fence 11, because then Ojano Vezzani has made a related distance that goes to fence 12, and Peter de Vos is contemplating, just gonna try to catch up with him. Peter, I see you thinking. What's on your mind?
Very big. The Oxer here is very, very big. It's the end of the course. It's already a quite tough course, and then it's a very difficult line. I think the 4 are short. I mean, a really big Oxer here, a big effort.
How do you think Momsto Piet Larocque would jump that? She hasn't jumped this weekend. Are you now thinking, I'm going to get a small jump, she'll look at it, I'm going to get a good jump because she won't look at it? How do you anticipate the jump that she will give you?
On the, you mean the vertical? She will not watch the jump. She will not care about the jump itself, so I'm gonna try to jump it as slow as possible, just for the 4 that I can have a bit more rhythm again here on the Oxer. So I don't think too much about the vertical. I think more about the Oxer than on the vertical.
We were just spending some time inside the triple combination as well. Vertical Oxer. That's a combination for the really, really big powerhouses.
Yeah, it's a very big effort they're asking here, and also the income of the triple combination is one hole, let's say 1 or 2 holes bigger than the middle one. So you first have to climb into it and then really give everything to get out. It's a huge effort.
One more question. The line after the triple, is it 6 or 7 for you to that upright?
For me, I think it's 6, but I will watch a few. But my first feeling is 6. But I think they will also do. Some horses will not jump out very wide, and then the riders will maybe decide to go straight out in 7. To not take the risk that they go too flat in the 6, but I think for my feeling it's 6.
You're not in the Super Grand Prix yet, Peter, so it has to happen now this weekend. Plenty of riders that are qualified for the Super Grand Prix in this Grand Prix, so it just might be that golden ticket gets passed down. But before you win any ticket here, you have to do a lot of jumping, Mark.
Thank you very much. To anyone to appreciate the mobility of Frederik de Backer, one needs to understand the tall nature of this Belgian, and that activity on fence 11 to get down there in that tiny little doorway is very, very impressive. That is the body movement of a marathon runner, is Frederik de Backer. Thank you very much. We'll get back to him, and we'll let him get to work as well. He will be your commentator tonight, and will be delivering those emotional calls for us all night long. But now the question that you've been asking, the question we've all been asking, is what is needed? What is it that Harrie Smulders needs to do to be crowned champion tonight? What is it that, of course, then respectively, Maikel van der Vleuten and Henrik van Ackerman need to do to be crowned champion? Well, Rosie Tapner is standing by for us inside the ring. Rosie, we could make this very complicated, or we could make this really, really simple. For my brain's sake, I would like us to take the latter. Let's simplify this as best as we can, because it can get quite messy. It's our job to clean it up. Let's talk scenarios. Let's start then with the man who potentially seems to be the favorite, Harrie Smulders. I ask you directly, what is required for Harrie Smulders to be crowned champion here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. You're completely right. It is really complicated, and I think that's because we've got 3 riders all fighting for that championship. That's quite unusual. Sometimes it's just the top 2, but there are so many scenarios. We are going to stick with the most simplest ones for you guys to follow at home. So Harrie Smulders, if he wants to win, all he needs to do is be in the top 8. No matter what anyone else does this evening, all Harrie has to do is get in that top 8. Having spoken to him earlier, I know we watched that earlier as well, it could happen, but he needs to jump clear. He needs to get into that jump off. If he does get into that jump off, it's a big course, as Fredrik has just shown us. I wonder how many will get in. He could be guaranteed that championship if he just gets into the jump off. So that's all he has to do, just top 8, Mark.
It seems relatively simple, but of course, as you said, on this kind of a ring that has been designed so big, as it deservedly needs to be for a big finale like that, I wonder how big that jump off is going to be. Right, if that is Harrie Smulders, let's talk about the other 2 back-to-back. Maikel van der Vleuten, Henrik van Ackermann, they have to do the chasing, and it's a far bigger ask for them. Talk to me about those 2 men. What do they need to do to overhaul Harrie Smulders?
Yeah, absolutely. As we know, in 2017, Maikel came second, Harrie Smulders, so he's got that fire. He really wants to win this tonight. All he has to do, and I say all because it's a big ask, he has to come first or second in order to be in with a chance of winning it. Obviously, that depends on what Harrie and also Henrik then do, but to be in a chance for winning this championship, Maikel just needs to be first or second. And I say just, it's a big course, anything can happen, and he really needs to get into that jump off. Both Henrik and Maikel, if they're not in the jump off, it goes to Harrie. Henrik then, he needs to podium 1, 2 or 3. Again, depending on what the others do, but Henrik needs to be 1, 2 or 3. It's a big ask from Maikel and Henrik, but it's all for Harrie's to lose. This could be Harrie's, but it's for him to lose.
Absolutely right. Rosie Tapner, thank you very much. To simplify that, a top 8 finish for Harrie Smulders means it is game over. Maikel van der Vleuten and Henrik van Ackermann can ride to the moon tonight. A top 8 finish for Harrie Smulders makes him the champion. I wonder how the 3 grooms of the 3 riders are feeling ahead of tonight. They carry so much weight of this competition. They do so much for this pairing. How are the grooms feeling ahead of tonight's final?
Well, we often talk about how the horses and the riders are the stars of the show, but without the behind-the-scenes stars of the show, none of this would happen. So today, I'm sitting down with 3 of the grooms of the top riders, and I'm delighted to say that I've got Paulina, Aline and Louise alongside me now to talk about all things about your job. Paulina, I'm going to start with you. Harrie is currently in the lead, and how long have you been a groom with him?
I work for him about half a year now.
How's it been travelling around the world?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Particularly with a top rider as well. He's in the lead. What are his feelings this weekend?
I think he's feeling pretty comfortable, and he's got a good string of horses with him. So yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed.
He'll do well. But all 3 of you are obviously hoping, fingers crossed, this weekend. Is there competitiveness towards all 3 of you?
We are kind of a big family already. Like, we see us almost every day the year, because yeah, we travel the big shows, and I don't know, we know as well. Like,
we travel together,
yeah.
We spend the weekends together, and
it's not, yeah,
only 2 days a week.
Exactly.
That we're not together.
Yeah.
So actually, you're just one big happy family,
yeah.
really. And how's Maikel feeling towards this weekend?
Oh, I think he's ready. He want to give 100%.
And we've got Henrik here, obviously, as well. Talking of the horses, how much pressure do you feel bringing them over to somewhere like Riyadh? It's quite a lot of responsibility to keep them healthy and well.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky. I mean, they all travel very well, I think. They're so used to it as well. So, but it's always a stress, especially flying. You never know. But we try our best and do as we do as usual and keep them happy and healthy.
I wonder, what's Harrie's personality going into a big final like this weekend?
No, I think he's very focused on what he's doing, and so am I. And we like to keep the focus on the horse and how the horse is performing, and that's our main attention.
What about Maikel?
Actually, the same. It's really focused, and yeah, we do as always. We nothing changed. We do the same thing like we always do on the shows, and that's all. And then we hope it's gonna enough luck to perform well.
And does Henrik have any like traits that you can think? Does he need a certain thing before he goes in?
Very focused and make a plan like he always does, and try to keep everything as we do, and hope for the best like everybody else.
I'm going to put you all on the spot here. Why is Harrie going to win? What makes him the best?
I think there's so much that plays part into it. All the hard work behind, and you also need a bit of luck. But all the hard work behind.
What about Maikel?
I hope, of course, it's going to be that he win, but in the end, I wish it all like everybody can win. It really depends on the horses, the riders, and we can do our job the best, but the rest,
it's up to them, isn't it? What makes Henrik the best?
Right now we have great horses. He has the right place and I think great mindset. So for sure it helps. And then in the end, just have to see. It's another day. So we just hope we do as we do. And I mean, as long as the horses stay healthy and are feeling great,
exactly.
The ending is anyway going to be nice.
The grooms are ready, we are ready, and we hope that you are ready. Here, GCTV comes next. The Lgct Grand Finale live from Riyadh. Our champion will be crowned in the next few hours. Let's go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:15 early morning in Los Angeles. It is 8:10 in New York, 8:15 in London, and 8:15 in Saudi Arabia. And the showdown is about to start with the last Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of the season, worth more than €500,000. Welcome to Riyadh for the culmination of a season in which three titans will still fight for a unique title, one that has been passed on from Ludo Philippars in 2006 over to the greatest names in show jumping, and today Ben Meyer, as a unique three-time champion, will pass the title on to one of three riders who are still in the run for the crown. Harrie Smulders leads the championship, and with an 8th place in this Grand Prix he will win his second title following his 2017 triumph. In that year, 2017, Maikel van der Vleuten came second, and this year again, Vleut is a few points short to win his first title, but he needs at least second place to have a chance at winning. Also, Henrik van Eckerman's best championship result is second place in 2021 behind Peter Fredriksen. He needs a podium finish to get in front of Smulders' current championship tally. And if that is not exciting enough, 4 more riders, Koekoek, Kuhner, De Lestre and Schouw, also have the opportunity to overtake Van der Vleuten or Van Eckerman and steal their spot on the championship podium. Here at the final stage, there is so much at stake here that will be decided over the next 2 hours under a pitch black sky in Riyadh at the edge of the borders of the King Abdullah financial district. Just like yesterday, a sold-out stadium, whether it is hospitality or the grandstands in this buzzing city that somehow never sleeps. These are the standings at the moment. Smulders with the comfortable lead. If he makes top 8, he wins the championship. Then Van der Vleuten and Van Eckerman, who has won 2 Grand Prix already this season. Empire isn't here, but as from there, Koekoek, Kuhner, De Lestre and Schouw can jump into or onto the podium of the championship standings. Further down, Arne Meyer, Johnson, Tops, Alexander, David Will, Peter de Vos, Ben Meer, Said, Philippe Arfbrandses, they are all here in a Grand Prix worth more than 500,000 euro. And other than the prize money, the championship points, there is of course also the golden ticket to the Super Grand Prix in Prague in just 3 weeks' time that is at stake. Fredriksson, Smolders, Will, Taps Alexander, Van der Vleuten, Van Eckerman, Skau, Aalman and Kuhner have already qualified for that Super Grand Prix. In case they would get again their hands on that ticket, that will be passed on to the next rider who hasn't qualified yet for the Grand Prix worth 1.25 million in Prague in 3 weeks' time, indoor in the O2 Arena. Ujana Vizzani with a very difficult task to shift the riders and to decide who will win this championship. It will happen over his course. Jump towards the LED wall to fence 1. Come through the turn to the wall. The wall, then 7 strides to a Liverpool Oxer, the first related distance. A 180 turn to the next fence, deep into the corner, the Royal Committee for the city of Riyadh. It's a bulky Oxer with wide rails, not much filling, but the wings do have a bit of width, and they'll need that. They need to back off because next are 3 short lines to the square rails on top of fence 5, and it's an 8-stride approach into the corner at Longines Global Champions Tour. And now the monster of this Lgct Grand Prix of Riyadh is the triple combination of Longines, and you can see it already. It looks very much like the one that we have seen back in Rome just a few weeks ago, where Maikel van der Vleuten landed on the back rail coming out of this triple combination. That'll be on his mind. It's vertical, 1 stride, Oxer, 2 strides and Oxer again. And those are absolute monsters of Oxers, very wide to come out, and depending on how you come out, how much momentum that you have left in your horse, it's an inside 6 or an outside, but it's very much on the outside, 7 strides to a delicate upright. A little bit of a breather, reorganize. Bring the balance back onto the hind leg, reorganize yourself. Green rails at 9, 5 strides into the Invest Saudi double combination, that is Oxer and vertical. Now it's 1 stride inside, and look at the ground line that he has given them at the second part of the combination, filled with flowers for the horses to get a little bit more shape and jump. And then it's a long loop. Look at that, lots of galloping to do. Time allowed will come into play at that point for the final line. And the final line starts with a replica of the Diriyah district. That's a beautiful full-face blank, short 4 to the Bush Oxer, and then I believe it was an 8-stride approach to an offset Liverpool vertical, 3 meters wide. I think it's 2.5 actually, 2.5 meters long. The rails at the final fence. And so time allowed at this point, as we're being informed, is set at 81 seconds. With 2 Saudi riders still walking the course, we're going to have a look at the starting orders. The first rider to go is the rider and horse combination that won last year's 2022 Riyadh Grand Prix, Maikel Pender with HHS Cali. Then Lazarus with Butterfly NML, Martinez Sommer with Korbacher, who is also in that group, the Great Ben with Gerrit Nieberg, and of course the Saudis with Ramzi Al-Duhami. Fredriksson comes next, Martin Fuchs, his first Grand Prix of the season. Further down, and there, 14th, Harrie Smolders, Urikas van der Kattenvenne, the horse that had to jump 2 rounds yesterday. Maikel van der Vleuten, 22nd to go, straight after the break with Bovill Z. Then Ben Meer, the 3-time champion, is also in that group. And as we come to the end of this table, you see championship winners like the Vos, you see Skau in there, who is qualified for the Super Grand Prix, Aalman of course, and there, third last, Henrik van Eckerman with King Edward. Probably at that point we have got a very good idea of where we are in terms of championship. Basically, Smolders needs to finish inside the top 8, and then any other result of Smolders, of Van der Vleuten or Van Eckerman will have no impact on the championship outcome, not on the title at least. Smolders doesn't make it into the top 8. Still, his rivals have to perform at their very best. For example, Van der Vleuten must finish first or second to have a chance to get in front of the current points tally of Smolders. For Van Eckerman, it's a little bit easier, but not much. It is basically first, second or third. What does that mean? Well, both need to finish on the podium. Both have to start by jumping clear rounds in this first round. Smolders is first to go. That is a disadvantage, but in the end he knows that both of his rivals have to go on and jump clear over what is a very demanding track. Smolders is on Urikas van der Kattenvenne. That horse has jumped 1 Grand Prix this season and has won that Grand Prix in Riesenbeck. As you could see, Van der Vleuten is on Beauville. Beauville jumped more rounds. He jumped 10 and was 4 times clear. Quite consistent there, just under 40% at 5-star meter 60 level. That is not bad. King Edward of Henrik van Eckermann jumped 6 Grand Prix this season, went clear twice, so the clear round rate is less. However, the efficiency of those 2 clear rounds he produced, he also went double clear in the jump off and went on to win those Grand Prix. That was in Stockholm and in Rome. So Henrik van Eckermann with King Edward, with on paper maybe the best horse and the best possibilities. Look in the background, there is Henrik van Eckermann having a look at what is going to happen and how the horses and riders are going to approach this course all by himself, relaxing. He knows that he is very late to go, and probably he will want to look at horses with similar strides and similar jumping styles. I don't know if you could say that of this HHS Calais, but we can say of Calais is that last year he was a 2-time Grand Prix winner on the Tour, 1 in Valkenswaard and then at the final here in Riyadh as well. Had a difficult qualification yesterday, and that is why he is first to go. HHS Calais with Maikel Pender. One of the youngsters in the field, but well experienced. An old head on a young body. 24-year-old Maikel Pender. All his podium finishes with this horse. Fence 1 and now the first line. That looked like a big touch, and that is the rail gone at 3. Pender straight away out of the game. He had a touch on the wall and then a big knock and another one. Pender is on 8 and he's just jumped 5 fences. The biggest test is coming up now. Have a look at this triple combination out of the turn. And now a big push. And another one. The 6 right fairly easy over to fence 8. Somewhat of a breather. 5 into the combination, and it was too deep. Rode quite positive into that combination. And it looked as if Calais did not back off, maybe looked more at the greenery at the B part of the double and paid less attention to the A part of the combination. And with those fences down, Pender decided to call it a day. Enough was enough. 40 have qualified for this Grand Prix, only 37 will come forward. For example, we will not see Philip Weishaupt, who jumped a brilliant double clear last night with Zine Day. And he would spare that horse as it's only 9. And the horse has done enough, and of course Weishaupt already qualified for the Super Grand Prix in 3 weeks time in the O2 Arena in Prague. Pender can't repeat that tremendous performance of last year. Oliver Lazarus with his French mare Butterfly NML. Lazarus, 36-year-old, in what is his 7th Grand Prix of this season. All Grand Prix with this mare. And now looking for his first clear of this season. He held her at first and then dared her at the Oxer, rather than Pender, who let Calais travel all the way through. Different approach of Lazarus, who really holds the mare at the front end, but it was a huge knock at 5, and I cannot believe that the square rail is still on the flat cups. If we'll get a replay of that and maybe a close-up at the end of his course, you'll see how that rail is sitting on the flat cups. And now he's riding the mare over the back rail of that Oxer on 6 strides to the upright, and he is still clear. It hasn't been the luckiest weekend yet for the man who did celebrate his birthday on Thursday. But there goes the front rail. Jump Saudi. You need some punch over the Oxer. And it's 8 all of a sudden for Oliver Lazarus and Butterfly NML. Over to De Ria. Fence at 11. Short 4, big